13th of March. It's a Friday. It's year 2013. We are celebrating, observing, commemorating the International Women's Day. And for this occasion, we decided to talk about something that's close to women out there, mga kababayan, and also something that bothers a lot of women, breast size, bigger versus smaller. We have a panel that's going to be joining us right about now on the show. Dr. Rouget, of course, is a plastic surgeon, and you've had experiences with this kind of, I guess, insecurities, issues before, right? And you deal with a lot of women who tell you different things, and we will get a lot from you today. Ellen started her a lingerie line catering to women with smaller breasts. Congratulations for doing that. Thank you. I may need that. Gail, hello and welcome to the show. Of course, you know Gail, our resident therapist here on Kababayan, LA. I guess first question is to you, Gail. Bigger breast size, bigger versus smaller. How does it affect somebody's psyche, a woman's confidence?
It actually is a very big issue for some women, and especially now. And usually it happens, my experience with it, with people telling me is that it happens during the dating, not after they've made a decision to be in a relationship together, but just with dating and feeling insecure that they don't have the right breast size. But I think, as we were talking earlier, the difference, I think, is the confidence or the self-esteem that's exuded when you have that, when you're very comfortable with your body. And I think that's what's important here, rather than the breast size.
Do you see, Dr. Rouget, that it alters their confidence and it alters the way, the comfort level they have about their body when they have bigger, after breast augmentation?
Yeah, I mean, it's not necessarily, I mean, most women are not looking to be huge-breasted, but they just want balance in their body and proportion. And most of the time, the majority of women after having surgery do feel more confident about the way they look.
Yes, and when you talk about balance, I hear a lot, some people are also saying that they want to do it because the clothes fit better, which brings me to the question, which I guess you were questioning also before, is it because a lot of clothes are designed for women with fuller breasts? Is there a lack of clothes being designed for women with smaller breasts? Does that matter at all?
From my experience, it seems like a lot of the clothing, they have fit models, right? So the fit models are usually one body proportion, and so when it's put on someone possibly with a smaller breast, or it may not fit as nicely, and so it can be a problem. But from my experience, as far as whether a lot of the women, if they feel good about themselves, it's also because of if the bra fits well.
Right.
Because if the bra doesn't fit well, then they find that, you know, they get nervous, or they feel less than.
Right.
So it can be a...
So Gail, it affirms that, you know, how we feel, what we look outside affects how we feel inside. Isn't it that we're taught that, you know, how we feel inside is reflected and manifested in the way we look outside?
Sure, it's that level of self-confidence and self-esteem that we have, you know, and it really comes across when you're, even in your posture, you know, whether you're comfortable with your body or not. And it really is, I think part of what we were talking about is that the media, or what the message that we get out there is that you have to have bigger breasts.
Right.
In fact, if you go look through a catalog of Victoria's Secret, they're all women that are very fit, but with big breasts. And if you think about it, is that really you know, how natural is that? Because really you don't really have that.
Right. And as a surgeon and as a male here, Dr. Rouget, does it really matter to men, the breast size?
I mean, some it does. I mean, me personally, that doesn't really matter. But there are some men, I suppose, that that really does matter a lot to. And so women are under a lot of pressure from various media sources, primarily, where they get introduced to their first images of what women are supposed to, quote, look like. And so many women do feel pressure to change their bodies, whether it be the breasts or something else, to try and fit that image.
And not just the aesthetics.
And I'd like to add, actually, with that, is it's interesting because when I worked with parents, when, you know, with children coming in to see me, and children, or let's say not children, but pre-adolescents, who have developed earlier, it's kind of a reverse because they are much more self-conscious because they have bigger breasts, embarrassed with it.
Right.
But then the parents would kind of joke around and say, oh, but it's okay. You'll like it later on when you're grown.
Yeah, no, but my question is, it's not just aesthetics, right? Because in psychology books, they're saying that there is a subconscious message that women with fuller breasts are more able to nurture. Is that correct? Do you hear that?
No, that's not what I've heard. I've heard that it's really not the breast size as far as breastfeeding. Yes, it's not.
Okay, so there's not even a subconscious thing about that.
Well, I think it's
so it's just all aesthetics, the way we look.
Yes, or what
sexuality.
you're used to seeing in the media, I think, is what makes a lot of women question themselves, because we get a lot of women who bring their husbands or boyfriends in, and the husbands and boyfriends can tell me about their the girlfriend's bra problems better than they can. And
really?
Yeah, and they say to me, the men will say to me, oh, I love her the way she is. She looks beautiful, you know, and she just has a terrible time shopping for bras, and it's just such a bad experience, and, and they're very positive about their girlfriend or wife's body type.
When women come to you for breast augmentation, do they do it for themselves because they want to? Because what I'm sensing is when you have a boyfriend, the boyfriend is into you, whether or not you have, because they've already determined that during the dating stage, right? So when they commit to you in a relationship, they already accept you as you are, and like as you're saying, the guys would say, she looks good the way she is, but then, so do women do it for themselves or for other people?
There's a mixture. I mean, I think most women are doing it for themselves, but there's definitely an element they're doing it to please their partner, whether it be their boyfriend or husband or whatnot. And in general, when I'm seeing somebody for breast augmentation, especially when we've decided to go forward with the surgery and she's trying to decide what size she wants to be, I always recommend she bring a friend with her, but usually not her boyfriends, because, well, yeah, I mean, I think it's better to have somebody who knows you really well, a girlfriend or parent, and have them help you out with choosing the size.
But okay, I hear that most men would prefer somebody smaller but natural rather than bigger but artificial.
Again, there's variety, and I don't know if I could make a statement one way or the other about most see it this way or that way, because I see both. I see some that really want that overdone look, and then others that really do want it to look natural. I mean, I'm talking about men. The majority of women, though, that come in want to look natural. I mean, they don't want to look oversized, so that people are saying, oh, look, she has implants. They want to look proportional with their body.
So what is the takeaway from this conversation, Gail? For women that are watching, when you talk about body insecurities, is it just all in the mind?
Well, I think
can we train our minds to think a certain way?
Sure. I mean, and I think that I think there's also procedure, or not procedure, but protocol maybe, that before you go into surgery or something that you kind of have to have some sort of counseling.
Do you do that?
It's not required.
Not formal counseling per se, but when I'm meeting somebody for the first time, I do try to ascertain what their motivations are about the surgery, and if I think that it's not a healthy, the reason they're doing it is not healthy, or it's not for themselves, then I do discuss that, and in some rare cases I'll actually tell someone that I don't think it's a good idea to go forward.
All right.
And I think that it's important to know how you feel about your body. If you do feel that having a breast augmentation is going to add to your self-esteem, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I think you should be informed about all the consequences and the possible, the possibilities or the dangers or risks or whatever, as in anything. But I also think that if you are comfortable with your body, that also comes across in a very different way than any other breast augmentation, procedure can.
So I guess the phrase that comes to mind is owning it, owning it. So if you're comfortable with your body, own it. If you feel that breast augmentation will help, then own that as well. But also here is Ellen that will be helping us, because she has this line for women with smaller breasts, and we're going to be discussing those looks when we return on the show. Don't go away.